hurt you that she's around your children?
It does not hurt me, no. More than anything, I go into protective mode. Like, I'm never going to trust someone who adored my family setup so much that they work their ass to come between it. Of course, with the help of him, but still.
Hey, our children are perfectly fine.
Like I said, for me, knowing that they are around someone who has said such nasty and vile things about their mother and about
all those babysitters that you had, 11 babysitters
who said multiple things about their father.
11
See how he defends her? He's bringing up something directly at me when I'm talking about a person who has for years, as he knows, tried to torture and come in between our marriage, DMing me. See, he knows all of those things, and I could keep going. So when he sits there and tries to defend how...
For quite some time, fans have been witnessing the ongoing tension between Martell Holt and Melody Shari, a storm that seems never ending. Every interview, every social media post, and every subtle remark has only added fuel, each moment feeling more intense than the last. Just when it seemed like the drama had reached its peak, the narrative took an unexpected turn, because now, Carlos King is finally breaking his silence. What he revealed isn't just surprising, it's profoundly unsettling and has everyone talking.
Listen, this show means a lot to Melissa in a very different way of what it means to Teresa. I think, to your point, listen, I think anybody who watches the show can see that Melissa wants to be the top dog, and she has trouble with Teresa constantly winning in the end. And this, I'm gonna tell you, it was the season where Danielle Staub, one of my favorites of all time.
Yes,
it was the season where Danielle Staub, unfortunately, Melissa, like, Teresa told me to pull the hair. What I saw was this excitement of Melissa getting the tea. Like, well, she did what? And I think in Melissa's mind, she was like, oh, baby, it's going down.
According to Carlos, this story goes far beyond a simple divorce, breakup, or two people moving on. It's become something much deeper, emotional, personal, and even strategic. If what he's hinting at is true, the public drama we've seen may not be random at all. Fans assumed the chaos was just lingering bitterness from a failed marriage. But here's the twist. Carlos revealed there could have been a deliberate pattern behind the scenes, a calculated attempt to control the narrative and sway public sympathy in a certain direction.
Life is good, God is good, okay? So, in case you missed the other live earlier, I need a bag, so I had to... So in real life, I always call Marlo, okay? I always call Marlo when I'm out shopping because she is my person. So, y'all get a chance to see who I am in my real life, not stuff you hear about.
When the man behind Love and Marriage Huntsville finally speaks out, people pay attention because Carlos King has witnessed it all firsthand. The love, the betrayal, the breakdowns, and now the lingering aftermath that refuses to fade. To truly grasp why his words are striking so hard, we need to go back to where it all began. This story didn't start with online drama or television tension. It began with love, ambition, and a partnership that once seemed unbreakable. Before the fame, the scandals, and the public arguments, Martell Holt and Melody Shari were seen as Huntsville's ultimate power couple, admired, respected, and celebrated. Together, they built businesses, raised children, and projected an image of unity that inspired countless viewers. When fans first met them on reality TV, it wasn't just a marriage on display, it was a vision, a husband and wife working side by side, dreaming big, and building a legacy for their family. Melody exuded composure, intelligence, and focus, while Martell came across as charming, confident, and driven. Their chemistry and shared ambition made it seem like nothing could ever break them.
Playing mind games, that's just what he does. Like him showing up here today with these flowers, this smile on his face like Prince Charming, when we all know that he's responsible for all of the stuff happening on social media pertaining to me. That could change people's opinions about me by him giving these false narratives. He's responsible for that.
On the surface, everything seems solid. The smiles, the business success, the picture-perfect image of a strong couple. But over time, cracks began to appear. Behind the polished exterior, private struggles were quietly brewing, struggles that no camera could truly capture. Melody worked tirelessly to keep her family intact while carrying emotional pain that few could ever understand. Meanwhile, Martell found himself torn between pride and choices that would ultimately alter everything. And then, the truth came out, shattering the image fans had once believed in. Allegations of infidelity, public humiliation, and heartbreak playing out for millions to witness.
I've been the victim all the time.
Ooh,
it gets on my nerves.
So everybody just heard everything Martell said.
No, because
that I'm playing the victim.
I wish one day people will see the person that you really are. You throw all the damn stones and hide your hands and be the victim. Because when we start going through stuff, I told you what you weren't doing in the marriage.
Melody didn't just lose a marriage. She lost trust, stability, and the shared dreams she had painstakingly built alongside the man she loved. Yet, rather than crumble under the weight of public scrutiny and heartbreak, she chose a completely different path. She stepped back from the spotlight, focused on raising her children, and began quietly rebuilding her life, piece by piece, on her own terms. Her approach was deliberate. Instead of reacting to drama or chasing validation, she focused on healing, growth, and protecting both her emotional well-being and that of her family. Martell's journey, on the other hand, unfolded in stark contrast. Rather than retreating into privacy, he remained in the public eye. Every interview, every statement, and every comment increasingly carried emotion, sometimes defensive, sometimes regretful, and occasionally laced with subtle tension. Slowly, the narrative began to shift. What initially appeared as post-divorce bitterness started to feel more deliberate, and fans couldn't help but notice a pattern. Every time Melody moved forward in her life, her name seemed to be pulled back into controversy or scrutiny. This is precisely where Carlos King enters the story in a more profound way. As the executive producer who helped launch Love and Marriage Huntsville, Carlos was more than just an observer. He was someone who had an intimate, behind-the-scenes perspective on the rise, peak, and unraveling of Martell and Melody's marriage. For years, he stayed mostly silent, letting the story unfold naturally. But according to Carlos, his silence was not indifference. Watching two people he had once seen build a life together spiral into public tension was personally painful. Carlos has openly reflected that both Martell and Melody were originally aligned in purpose and vision. They shared ambition, dreams, and the drive to create something meaningful together. But after the divorce, Carlos noticed a significant shift in Martell's emotional energy. Rather than focusing on personal growth or healing, it seemed his energy turned toward controlling the story being told to the public. In his words, when someone feels like they've lost control in their personal life, they often attempt to regain it through narrative management. What Carlos revealed next is where the story becomes especially compelling. He hinted that some of Martell's actions were not merely emotional reactions, but calculated attempts to influence public perception. Instead of outright revenge, this behavior appeared to be motivated by pride, hurt, and the fear of being portrayed as the villain, while Melody remained the hero in the public eye. Over time, fans began noticing subtle patterns, interviews that referenced Melody, offhand comments that questioned her decisions, and public appearances that seemed more designed to maintain tension than achieve closure. Initially, many dismissed these moments as the natural fallout of a bitter divorce, but Carlos suggested it could have been far more strategic. According to him, Martell might have been trying to slowly reshape public loyalty, not through a single dramatic move, but through repeated narrative shifts. Each remark, each carefully timed statement seemed aimed at casting himself as misunderstood, while subtly challenging Melody's established image of strength. As this unfolded, a remarkable contrast emerged between the two. While Martell's approach appeared reactive yet calculated, Melody consciously chose silence and self-focus. She stopped engaging in public drama, shifted her energy toward her career, her music, and most importantly, her children. Carlos emphasized that her composure and restraint were not signs of weakness, rather they were deliberate acts of protection and emotional discipline. Maintaining such grace under constant public pressure is a skill few can master, and Carlos openly praised her for it. The situation, Carlos explained, was exhausting for everyone involved, fans, producers, and close associates alike. The tension dragged on for years, resurfacing in new ways that threatened reputations, careers, and mental well-being. As a producer, Carlos often had to step back and view the scenario first as a human being, not just a storyteller. Watching two people who had once seen build a life together become locked in a very public emotional struggle was no longer just compelling content, it was heartbreaking. Carlos made it clear that he doesn't see Martell as purely malicious. Instead, he frames him as someone struggling with accountability, attempting to protect his pride while grappling with the consequences of past choices. But he also warned that when pride becomes the primary motivator behind decisions, it can lead to long-term consequences that are difficult, if not impossible, to reverse. Every calculated remark, every subtle public narrative shift may appear minor in isolation, but over time, they accumulate, creating a web of tension, misperception, and emotional strain. Ultimately, the situation illustrates something deeper. The public sees only fragments, while behind the scenes, emotions, strategy, and personal struggles collide in ways that can't always be captured in interviews or social media posts. Carlos's insights reveal the intricate dynamics of how pride, loss, and control can manifest publicly, shaping not just a narrative, but the emotional reality for everyone involved. And amid all of this, Melody's response, measured, composed, and silent, sends a message that is as powerful as any statement. True strength often speaks quietly, and in the face of chaos, restraint can become the ultimate form of power.